Universiti Malaysia Kelantan UMK adalah universiti berteraskan keusahawanan. Kami membawa aspirasi kerajaan yang mahukan generasi muda bukan sahaja berpendidikan tinggi tetapi juga berjiwa usahawan. UMK adalah universiti keusahawanan nombor 1 di Malaysia dan bercita-cita menjadi salah satu yang terbaik di dunia menjelang 2030. Ini adalah selaras dengan dasar keusahawanan nasional yang ingin menjadikan Malaysia sebagai negara keusahawanan pada 2030. Menurut visi ini, UMK memastikan keseluruhan universiti berfungsi dalam ekosistem keusahawanan. Ekosistem ini merangkumi 9 fakulti yang disokong oleh institusi dan pusat kecemerlangan yang dilaksanakan dengan disiplin keusahawanan berasaskan inovasi. Pengurusan atasan universiti bersama dengan pekerja UMK di semua peringkat komited untuk merealisasikan UMK sebagai universiti awam Malaysia yang disegani kerana asas keusahawanannya. Dengan melaksanakan ekosistem ini, Institut Keusahawanan UMK, UMKEI, memayungi 3 pusat berasaskan keusahawanan lain. Pusat Pembangunan dan Pendidikan Keusahawanan CEED, Institut Perusahaan Kecil dan Sederhana ISMI dan Pusat Penyelidikan dan Inovasi Keusahawanan Global GARIC. Fakulti Keusahawanan dan Perniagaan yang menerajui struktur ini telah berjaya mengembangkan jaringan keusahawanan kolaboratif seperti UMK Frontier Street, Majlis Penasihat Keusahawanan dan dengan bangganya mengetuai jawatan kuasa panduan KPT untuk pendidikan bersepadu keusahawanan. Dari aspek akademik, UMK menawarkan 29 program ijazah sarjana muda dan 16 program pascasiswazah dalam bidang perniagaan dan pengurusan, pelancongan dan hospitality, sains dan teknologi, serta seni dan warisan. Universiti ini sentiasa meningkatkan sistem pengajaran dan pembelajarannya untuk memastikan bahawa proses pembelajaran berlaku secara kreatif dan inovatif melalui My Academic Integrated System, My Eyes, Massive Open Online Course, MOOCs dan pembelajaran teradun. UMK committed untuk mengembangkan graduan minda kelas pertama untuk menjadi peneraju industri. Bekerjasama dengan sektor korporat tempatan bertaraf dunia serta rangkaian institusi pendidikan serantau yang terkenal bertujuan memperkasakan UMK dari pelbagai sudut. Ini dapat dibuktikan dengan peningkatan kebolehpasaran graduan dan graduan yang mencipta pekerjaan melalui perniagaan. Penyelidikan, inovasi dan pengkomersialan adalah satu aspek UMK yang penting. Pembiayaan penyelidikan dan jumlah inovasi dan produk yang dikomersialkan meningkat setiap tahun. UMK telah menunjukkan prestasi yang baik dalam pelbagai pertandingan berprestij. Dengan hashtag UMK for Society, UMK juga terlibat dalam pelbagai aktiviti kemasyarakatan. Kaki tangan dan pelajar kami secara konsisten menunjukkan kemahiran dan kebolehan yang luar biasa. Dengan semangat kerja berpasukan yang begitu hebat, UMK tidak lagi menoleh ke belakang untuk muncul sebagai entiti pendidikan yang disegani di rantau ini. Kami di UMK percaya bahawa kehadiran kami akan memberi gambaran baharu kepada perkembangan lembah ilmu. Sesungguhnya teras kami, keusahawanan, akan sentiasa menjadikan Universiti Malaysia Kelantan relevan, unik dan berbeza.
Revolusi Industri 4.0. Revolusi industri keempat membawa automasi proses pembuatan ke tahap baru dengan memperkenalkan teknologi pengeluaran besar-besaran yang disesuaikan dan fleksibel Secara amnya, mesin akan beroperasi secara automatik atau dengan dikendalikan oleh manusia dalam mewujudkan bidang pengeluaran yang memenuhi keperluan dan kehendak pelanggan. Mesin tersebut mencari entiti bebas yang dapat mengumpulkan data dan menganalisis data. Di bawah revolusi industri keempat, terdapat 4 elemen penting, iaitu sains data, analisis data, kepintaran buatan dan juga pembelajaran mesin. Sains data. Sains data adalah kajian jumlah data yang besar menggunakan alat dan teknik moden untuk mencari corak yang tidak pernah dilihat sebelumnya, memperoleh data penting dan mencipta nilai. Sains data digunakan bagi mencari sebab utama kepada suatu masalah dengan mengemukakan soalan yang tepat, melakukan kajian terhadap data, memodelkan data dengan menggunakan pelbagai algoritma dan berkomunikasi, seterusnya menggambarkan hasil data. Keperluan data sains adalah untuk mengurangkan kos pengeluaran dan membina kepintaran serta kemampuan dalam mesin. Analisis data merupakan proses menganalisis data asal untuk mencari bentuk data. Analisis data juga digunakan bagi menjawab soalan. Matlamat utama penganalisis data adalah bagi meningkatkan kecekapan dan meningkatkan prestasi dengan menemui corak dalam data. Terdapat 4 jenis analisis data, iaitu analisis deskriptif, analisis diagnostik, analisis prediktif dan analisis preskriptif. Keempat-empatnya adalah digunakan untuk menjawab soalan. Analisis deskriptif membantu menjawab soalan mengenai apa yang berlaku. Analisis diagnostik membantu menjawab soalan mengenai mengapa perkara itu berlaku. Analisis prediktif membantu menjawab soalan mengenai apa yang akan berlaku pada masa akan datang. Manakala analisis preskriptif membantu menjawab soalan mengenai apa yang harus dilakukan. Kepintaran buatan. Kepintaran buatan atau lebih dikenali sebagai AI adalah simulasi proses kecerdasan manusia oleh mesin, terutamanya sistem komputer. Sistem AI berfungsi dengan membaca sejumlah besar data latihan berlabel, menganalisis data untuk korelasi dan corak, serta menggunakan pola tersebut bagi membuat ramalan mengenai keadaan masa depan. Kepintaran buatan berguna pada pekerjaan yang berorientasikan perincian, mengurangkan masa untuk tugas berat data, memberi hasil yang konsisten dan bertindak sebagai ejen maya berkuasa AI yang sedia ada. Pembelajaran mesin atau ML adalah aplikasi AI yang memberi sistem kemampuan untuk belajar dan memperbaiki secara automatik dari pengalaman tanpa diprogram secara mendalam. ML berfungsi dalam menghasilkan model yang cepat dan automatik untuk menganalisis data yang lebih besar dan kompleks serta memberikan hasil yang lebih cepat dan tepat walaupun pada skala yang sangat besar. ML kebanyakannya digunakan dalam perkhidmatan kewangan di mana bank dan perniagaan lain dalam industri ini menggunakannya untuk dua tujuan utama, iaitu bagi mengenal pasti pandangan penting dalam data dan mencegah penipuan. Selain itu, ML turut menjadi ikutan semasa dalam sektor kesihatan dengan kemunculan alat dan sensor yang menggunakan data untuk menilai kesihatan pesakit dalam masa nyata. Berikut merupakan perbandingan di antara 3 elemen penting yang terdapat dalam AI. Ketiga-tiganya adalah subset kepada Big Data. Pusat Kompetensi IR 4.0 telah dibangunkan di bawah kelolaan IB yang berfungsi sebagai pusat untuk menjalankan latihan-latihan berkenaan revolusi industri keempat.
IP ataupun computer center ialah kita memberi training latihan dalam bidang digital, lebih-lebih lagi dalam Industrial Revolution 4.0 atau dipanggil IR4.
Pusat kompetensi turut menyediakan beberapa fasiliti yang lengkap untuk melancarkan latihan-latihan yang dijalankan oleh
Latihan
IB.
bertajuk Programming for Everyone Introduction to Python course telah dijalankan oleh IB pada 9 Mei 2021.
Python is a general purpose programming language. Okay, you can use Python to develop any standalone or web-based application, be it student, researchers, or developer programmer. Okay, you can use Python. It's a general purpose programming language. Okay, and the beauty about this latest version of Python is that it comes with the features to facilitate data analysis and data visualization. So many features and built-in libraries that have been provided.
Antara aplikasi lain selain Python, terdapat juga R Programming, MATLAB dan juga SAS. Revolusi industri keempat banyak memberi sumbangan kepada beberapa sektor. Yang pertama, kepada penyelidikan dan pembangunan. Yang kedua, sumbangan kepada kejayaan dalam bidang ICT. Serta sumbangan kepada Institut Latihan Kemahiran Belia dan Sukan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Hadrami Abdul Ghani. I'm currently attached to the Department of Data Science, University Malaysia Kelantan as one of the lecturers. So I'll be the moderator of our webinar today. So our webinar today is organized by IBIC. As what we watched from the brief introductory video just now, IBIC, or the Institute for Artificial Intelligence and Big Data, was founded in 2017 as a venture proposed by the UMK Board of Directors. So IBIC is aimed to be a focal research center for AI and big data, concentrating on R&D, academic programs, professional training, digital industry, and technopreneurship. The institute was created to provide a dynamic environment and research ecosystem geared towards the fourth industrial revolution for IR, specifically in artificial intelligence, big data, data science, machine learning, and the Internet of Things. The institute works closely with local and international companies and universities on research projects and digital innovation. IBIC has formed strategic alliances with leading IT companies such as Microsoft, Alibaba, and Huawei to develop relevant academic curricula in the future. This is to ensure that our academic and research programs are relevant to the needs of industry. IBIC also employs research fellows and associate fellows to achieve the objectives that I have mentioned just now. So in line with UMK Techline's entrepreneurship is our trust and entrepreneurial university, today we will be having a webinar entitled Artificial Intelligence or AI Innovation World, a journey from academic research to AI startup. That will be presented by our distinguished speaker, Dr. Afnizan Faizal. So before I begin and introduce our speaker, let us do a little housekeeping. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can always feel free to type them into the chat or the question box, and I will try to bring them up during the question and answer session. And we will also have extra time at the end of the presentation for more questions, especially if you like to verbally ask your questions. Now, let me introduce our speaker today, Dr. Afnizan Faizal Abdullah. He is our speaker today. He is currently the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Synapse Innovation Sdn Bhd. So this company is a leading Malaysian company that provides artificial intelligence, AI, big data analytics, and cloud computing solutions for the manufacturing, healthcare, and agriculture sectors. He has been frequently invited by universities, multinational industries, and government agencies to share his top technical experience and vast knowledge on the fourth industrial revolution and technologies for solving challenges within companies and organizations. And he has won numerous awards and accolades, some of which are MIMO's prestigious award in 2013. He also won a gold medal at Industrial Art and Technology Exhibition in ATEX in 2019, and a gold medal in Malaysia Technology Expo MTE in 2020, a special award at Croatia International Innovation Award 2020, we call it MTE 2020, and his company also won the Top Machine Learning Company Asia Pacific 2021, which is very recently. Okay, so before I pass the session for Dr. Afnizan Faizal to present, let me begin with some introduction about our topic today. So the topic today will be about the commercialization of R&D. So let us be clear about why do we actually need to go for R&D commercialization. It goes without saying that an innovation must be relevant to the demands of customers in order to be commercialized. Customers, on the other hand, may not always know what they require. So monitoring the market, conducting basic research, and observing client behavior, in my opinion, are keys to spotting the correct possibilities. So we need to always be aware that whenever we do R&D, we need to always look for the chances to commercialize our R&D products. And secondly, the involvement of the value chain. It is critical to hear multiple perspectives in a development effort. When the entire value chain is involved in the project, the various viewpoints and expertise can be best assembled. Applied research, technology developers, experts on the raw material chain, clients, investors, suppliers, startup companies, and end users should all be included in the network. And we need to also realize the roles and responsibilities, which must be clearly defined. Okay, the clear roles and duties are essential for successful collaboration between the academia and industry. And we need to also know about the risk mitigation. Okay, from a lab scale innovation to a full scale facility, while developing new technologies certainly and frequently involve too many unknowns and what we call as risk. So pilot tests on a sufficiently big scale before full scale adoption will help us to manage these risks. And certainly we need to know about the entrepreneurship. Okay, commercialization should be simple if the preceding procedures have been followed correctly. In practice, successful commercialization is contingent not only on our own actions, but also on the timing and market situation. Okay, now without further ado, I will hand over the session to Dr. Afnizan Faizal to share his experience. Over to you, Doctor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Dr. Hadrami. It's a generous introductions. Alhamdulillah, I really honored to be part of this stage, and let's. I guess in this very morning, it's great for us to get some sharing, and I'm preparing some sharing with you guys regarding the topic of AI innovations, which is a journey from academic research to AI startups. So, shall we begin? Okay, can everyone see the slide now?
It's clear to me. Yeah, it's clear. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, my name is Afnizan Faizal bin Abdullah. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of CNEF Innovation Sdn Bhd, and also the Chief Technology Officer for Aerodynamics Groups. So, to begin with, I started my career as an academic. I was a senior lecturer in UTM, University Technology Malaysia, Johor Bahru. And recently, I just resigned from my positions there and jumped into Aerodyne as the CTO. And in 2019, I established the company, CNEF Innovation Sdn Bhd, under the flagship of spin-off ecosystems in UTM. And Alhamdulillah, we're doing good in that sense. And then maybe this is something that we are going to share today. So the agenda for today is on the solving industrial problems with AI, and then we are going to share with you how we capturing the white markets, and then we are going to tell more about why talents are important in our context, and also moving forwards, which is the collaboration between Synapse and Aerodynes. So the problem that we try to solve back then in the industry is when it started in 2019, when we have been approached by Petronas to look into their problems on predicting their machines, their production machines in the factories. And the problem here is basically they're not able to maintain the equipment asset during the to reduce downtime during daily operations. So most of the industry, most of the manufacturers in Malaysia doesn't have any mechanisms in order for them to track their downtimes. So every time when this downtime happens, we regularly they will cost them around millions of ringgit Malaysians. So when this come, usually it will come along with the system integration problem, software customizations, which is the main cause of the problems, and also the hardware calibrations once the maintenance happens. So basically, this is the problem that we are trying to solve here. So the solution that we bring in to the industry is first we get sample data, which is we collect data from the machines, and this usually 3 to 6 months of the machine. So that means we are going to collect it through the log and the machines report and whatnot lah. So from that samples, what we do is we do the data extractions, and then after that we develop the pattern recognitions, which using machine learnings. From these pattern recognitions that we have with the input of 3 to 6 months of data, what we have, we are going to produce the machine learning models. For the machine learning models that we have produced here, of course, we have gone through a lot of training sessions, and from there we are producing relevantly good, relatively good accuracy. So from there, we able to identify which machines is okay and which machines are not. So this is something that classifications problems that we bring to the clients. And once the models is produced, we are going to install the model into our solutions called Synapse Core. And this platform that we developed, which this machine learning models installed in, will tap into real-time operations. And our platform to identify which machines has exhibit the symptom of failure and which machines have been considered as in the good conditions. So those machines that we consider as okay will continuously monitored, and those who have symptoms of problems, symptom of failures, we are going to call for maintenance. So in other words, we converting the scheduled maintenance into on-demand maintenance that help the clients, which is the manufacturers, to avoid the downtimes of their machines. So from here, we able to solve their problems with AI. So pretty much about the details of our Synapse Core, or our platform that we have used to deliver to our clients, is on the root cause analysis, where we able to find the right part of the machines that cause the problems. And also we have this real-time monitoring that help our client to see and monitor the operations in real time. And of course, using our machine learning, we can estimate the downtimes, which our solution able to predict the lifespan of the machine if they are not replaced or repaired. So other words, if our machines has that machines for a certain amount of time, the manufacturer doesn't do anything. That means there's not going to maintain it and whatnot. It will cost the downtimes. Okay, so this is a actionable insight to our clients to do the decisions. And now we're moving forward on capturing the right markets for our product. So as Dr. Hadrami mentioned just now about delivering the research into the markets, basically what we need to do at first is to identify the market segments. We need to identify who are our clients. So from there, we try to target them as our clients so that we can validate whether our product, our research, able to bring into the markets. So knowing that we are developing and predictive analytics, so this is the market that we tap into. So from here, we identify that it's 7.2 billion in global markets. Okay, so taking up into the Asian only, we are going to get 2.5 billion. But when we look into Malaysia, if we tap only 5% in the Malaysian markets, we still can gain millions, which is 125 million USD. So this is some conventional way that we can do to look into how big the markets that we want to tap in. So, but it doesn't mean that this is the amount that you are going to get eventually. No, this is just giving us a hint that the market the market that we're targeting is having some demand, a certain demand that we can explore later on. And of course, when we deliver a product, there's a niche of the features. We need to identify the feature. We need to identify what the value that we want to bring to the clients. That will bring us to the clients to us. Okay? So coming back into this context, I would like to share that when we delivering the research into the markets, definitely we are going to have some marketing funnels. So from there, we need to go to our client, potential client, tell them about our product or our research and whatnot. And from in our case, word by mouth is the most effective way. Even though we're living in the social media era right now, but at this point, most of our clients comes from the word of mouth. When we deliver a product to our clients, the news happen to be reach out to our potential clients. So the idea here, if we have a good research and then we believe that we can bring into the market in the form of product, we need to identify what the value that we are going to bring to the clients. And once we have tapped the clients' trust and also we are able to bring in the value for them and in a good way. And of course, we need to bring it in the highest quality that we can deliver. Definitely, more people will come to you. So, talking about the research in the universities, UMK have done a really tremendous way to develop the talent in such a way that developing talents in the entrepreneurships needs something that purely on the mental and the mindsets. So, talking about the mindset of entrepreneurships, definitely the product need to be delivered and followed by a very good customer service. So, most of the entrepreneurs, more of the business owner and whatnot, not only think about the technology or the solution only, but they also need to look into how they want to keep the relationship with the clients or the customers very well. So customer service is another thing that need to be invested, and also delivering the product or services require talents, and that's what we are going to share with you later on. So before we go on that, let us share about our client journey. So the challenge that they are facing is to unable to anticipate operational downtimes in different sites. So from here, what they require us is there's a two site which is gaming and cafe involving 300 plus of generator set, and we need to tap into those generator set in order for us to identify which generator sets have exhibit symptoms of failures. And according to them, that each operation downtimes would cost them ringgits of Malaysia in terms of production cost. Coming back to what IBIC in UMK have showed us just now, that AI able to reduce the production cost, and from there we able to solve these problems. And how do we help them? Synapse Core was installed in gaming and cafe site to collect the data of the generator sets and provide the capability of predict operational downtime for each machines. And after 6 months of operations, alhamdulillah, we able to reduce 85% of the operational downtime in both sites. That would cost them a lot of money. And by using our platform, we able to save their money instead. So when just now I talked about talents. Now we move to the why we need to have talents, and on the part of delivering the solutions to the clients. Talents is the things for us that really important. So coming back to Synapse Innovation Sdn Bhd, we value our staff more, or I can say that more than any company had valued their staff. In fact, we as the company, we see talents, which is our staff, and the clients are both our stakeholder or our clients. So on that note, what happened here is we believe that without good talent, Synapse Innovations is not going to comes into realizations. In 2019, when we get the first project with Petronas, and during that time we only have 2 staff. Okay, both of them were graduated from UITM, and from there we able to develop their skill and knowledge on predictive maintenance. And then moving forward in 2020, the next year, the COVID-19 happens, unfortunately, but alhamdulillah, we still able to grow our company into 4 staff. And from there, our annual revenue is 10% increase with more people, more clients on board. And this year, we are proud to mention here that by the times I'm delivering this talk, we able to grow into 4 times of growth. So from here, we are focusing on 16 staff, and currently we are getting 30 staff right now. And this is beyond our expectations, and because everyone knows that during this pandemic situations, companies are barely to survive. But alhamdulillah, in our case, we able to survive these hard times, the hard time situations. And how we do that is by harnessing the good talents from the universities and bring on board and train them. And of course, in our case, we promise and we deliver a very good workspace for them. So this is the thing that we bring into our staff and talents lah. And then for 2022, since we have few projects that in hand and also a new project that coming in, we are focusing to increase into at this point of when I was doing these slides is a 25 staff, but alhamdulillah, fortunately, we are increasing the number of staff into hundreds. So why? Because we believe in resource project value ratio in such a way that one staff can deliver 100,000 of projects. So so from here, that's why we really believe on developing talents, because these talents are the one that run the company, that make sure that it can we can deliver to our client and whatnot. So from 100 staff, so with 100,000 ringgit per staff that can deliver the projects. So this is something that we envision and we believe in, which help us on our traction of the company. And also we have been appointed as the top machine learning company 2021 by CIO Advisor Asia Pacific. And now we would like to share with you our recent achievements with Aerodyne. So as I joined Aerodyne as the CTO, and also Aerodyne is keen into exploring what we are doing back then in Synapse Innovations. So we are working very closely hand to hand with Aerodyne to deliver top-notch solutions for drones users and drones consumers around the world. So a little bit about Aerodyne. We are the first, the world's #1 drone technology company in the world, and we have served globally across the countries, across all the continents in the world, and we have covered 560,000 of critical assets, with 380,000 of power lines and 7,000 of wind turbine and 7,000 more on the solar and also on the telco. And we are operating in 35 countries globally. And by the time this slide has been created, we have 500 crew, which we call it Aerodyne. But we are pleased to inform you that we are reaching 700 now today, okay, and more to come for the next week and whatnot. So this is something that we are achieving in Aerodyne as a drone technology, data technology, and digital transformation company. So this is pretty much about Aerodyne, and what we bring in Synapse into Aerodyne is we want to introduce and improving the data management and what you call as intelligent data for by drones. So in principle, we collect the user requirements from our clients to capture the data through drones, and for the data processing and also the pattern recognitions and the predictive model that we produce has been shared just now. We are producing the models, and this model will be installed or will be integrated into the platform. And then after that, we're able to identify the conditions of the asset, and from here we can detect the defect and whatnot. And then using our real-time data, which is tapped into the drones flying to do the inspections, we can find the defects right away and giving the reports to our clients near real time. So this is pretty much what we are doing, and this is the use case that I'm going to share to you. I'm sharing to you today on the part of intelligent data from drones. So this is a little bit about our applications that we developed. As you can see here, this is as we presented in the Synapse Core, it's a 2D and a time series data. Now we're moving into this 3D integrations. As you can see that on the left-hand side is the point cloud, and the right-hand side is the 3D image that we capture from drones. As you can see here, this is the time sheet that based on the times or the date of this data have been collected, and from here we're able to find some defects over this date and also on the components of the image. So this is pretty much what we have as our data, integrating our data intelligence into the platform. So before we end the presentations or the sharings, I would like to emphasize on developing our good business is when we can deliver the value to our clients properly. So on the part of the value propositions that we deliver to our clients is basically to prevent downtimes and reduce operational costs. This is pretty much have been proven and been shown when we deliver to Petronas, and from here we're able to bring more value to them to operate better in day-to-day operations. And people are also talking about the 4IR will reduce the possibility of getting job, whatever. people are not getting jobs or losing jobs per se. As the persons in on the ground of this perspective, I can say that is unfortunately is true for the jobs that have a trait of repetitive operations. So, for example, when we go to shopping mall right now, you can see that there's a lot of camera taking our movements when we enter the mall and notify us if we are not using masks and whatnot. So, moving back before COVID, so this is the operations that have been done repetitively by the security guard, so by the humans. So, and when this COVID-19 happens, and we replacing the security guards with the help of these computer visions and also the AI that able to identify whether you are wearing mask or not. This is the job where been replaced by the AI and by the fourth industrial revolutions. So the only way that we can help those that affected by this is to elevate their skills. So from there, we deliver a value in such a way that we optimize the operational activity by repurposing some personnel into better positions, so or better job scopes. For example, if they are last time they are doing this manufacturing by hands, and currently machines will do that for them. So those that have the job have been those that affected by the job replacement by the robot will need to elevate their skill in order for them to upgrade themselves, so that they no longer operate the operational, but they are coming into operating the machines. So I can say that this is something that we cannot avoid, unfortunately, but fortunately, it will be something that can elevate your skill to do more better purpose for the job. And the important here is elevating the skills, improving, and also developing your skill sets is in order for you to still relevant into the markets. So this is something that we deliver to our clients. So by then, before we end the sessions, this is my contact numbers and my emails, and we from Synapse Innovations, we influence your business opportunity. We influence your business productivity. Thank you. Coming back to Dr.
Okay, thank you very much for the interesting sharing, Dr. about your journey with Synapse. It is very exciting to know your experience in providing AI solutions for root cause analysis, real-time monitoring, and downtime estimation, as you have presented to us just now. Furthermore, you also it was very interesting as well to know the fact that your company was established just before the MCO and managed to survive and in fact grow further during the MCO. So this is to me very inspiring. Now we are moving to the second part of our program today, where we'll have a more interactive session with our speaker. To begin with, maybe Dr. Afnizan Faizal can tell and advise us on how to start an AI startup. Maybe you can share with us about your experience in gaining confidence to establish a startup.
Okay, all right. We started in 2019, and before that, we also engaging with our clients for contract research grant. And during that time, so we realized that retaining talent is very important. Even though we are in the universities, but we just produce the student, the talents to the industry. But as the university also, it's really hard to retain the talent, especially on the technology side. So that's come to our sense that developing a company is one of the options. And I went to that directions. And from there, we able to develop the first two staff, which alhamdulillah still with us until today. And from there, this is the first motivations that we do. The second one is I'm not really satisfied when we do the research and producing the paper and producing the talents only, because for me, becoming a researcher, becoming an academician in university, we need to complete the loop of the research, starting from finding the problems, applying and getting the grant, which is the fund, the research fund, and also developing talents. And also after that, we get this research to deliver in the form of publishing papers. And for me, it's not stop there. We need to bring the research that we have developed with our tears and blood in our hands and whatnot. And we need to find a way so that our research is able to be commercialized. And from there, again, having a company is one of the options that I found it, and I go for that. And from there, we able to deliver to our client according to the market segment that I shared just now. So identifying the market segments and then deliver to the clients. And then when getting the revenue from the companies, from there we able to push to allocate a little bit on another R&D. So from there, I found that this is the most sustainable way for us to keep our research running. So I believe that most of the public research institute or the public universities relying on this public grant provided by the governments, and most of the times this funding is not, it's always limited, and it's very hard to secure. For me, after I wish the way how to sustain my research funding, starting in 2019, I'm no longer apply for FRGS or all of these research public grants, because everything we want with our revenue, and we invest back to the company on the part of R&D. So from there, I found that it's really fascinating moments to retain the talents, especially, and also to make sure that we can do research in a sustainable way. So yeah, this is something that we do in in Synapse. Taking your questions regarding on looking into your questions into taking the trust of the clients. Yes, we bring in the value. We are not bringing the product actually. We're not bringing the research to the clients. We just bring the value that we're able to solve their problems. So that's all the method. And most of the failures in the commercializations is when researcher bring to the client, to the potential clients, with their research. They say, hey, we have this research, a really advanced research that we can bring to your client, but unfortunately, it's not able to solve the right problem, the technical problem, or the problem that they're having that time. So that's why most of the commercialization fail on that. So we need to bring the value first, and then after that, the product or the research that we have will come later. So I hope that answers your questions, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. Thanks again, Doctor, for your clear and concise answer. Finding and developing talents is clearly essential, right? So the loop doesn't actually stop at just publishing papers. We need to also think of how to commercialize and so on. So, all right. Your personal and practical experience in entrepreneurial activities is certainly encouraging to all of us. Now, from your personal experience, we want to look at a broader perspective in nurturing the entrepreneurial culture within an organization. So what are your opinions and advices in fostering this culture at the organizational level?
Okay, thank you for the questions. First of all, we look into developing talents for entrepreneurships must start with mindset. If you come with the mindset of being hired, not hiring people, but this is something that you not I'm not suggesting you to go for the entrepreneurships. You go, you just develop your talents and hoping that one day people will hire you after you graduated. So it's all start with mindset, because when we start our to be frank, I have no intention to become an entrepreneur and whatnot during that times. I also think hoping that people will hire me after I graduated, especially during my after I finished my PhD lah. And but along the way, I learned on how this entrepreneurship is, how we deliver the product value to our client and whatnot. Of course, we had a lot of failures before. Then we learn out of that. So I'm developing the entrepreneurship mindset during that time. So coming back to your question, the first and foremost is on the mindset. So on when we have the entrepreneurship mindset, we anticipate failures. Most of the entrepreneurs, those are not who what they call as risk taker. Most of them are not risk taker, but they are really good in managing risk. So this is some misconception that happening around us right now. People look at the entrepreneurs as those that take risks, but in reality, we are not taking risks. We are more on managing what the risk that going to happen. For example, if we know something that cannot be sold, okay, we are not going to sell it at all. We put it aside and we are going to redevelop or improve and whatnot. And and then along the way, we are going to provide services in order for us to sustain our financials. So this is something that an entrepreneur or those that having this mindset need to look into. And as you can know, that the thing that really obvious right now is I'm not full-time entrepreneur since 2019. I still a senior lecturer in that time, because during that time I was thinking that, and also the thing right now is when I start a company, I'm not deserve the money to pay for me. So starting 2019 until now, I never paid myself with the revenue that we get to Synapse Innovation. We focus on the talents. We expense everything on the talents. Okay, every penny that we get from the client is for our talents. So this is something that may not logic for those who think they are planned to be hired, because this is something that only the entrepreneurship mindset would understand about this. So again, come back to your questions. Mindset. Okay, this is the mindset of the entrepreneurs, and it will build up the spirits of the entrepreneurships, because on the success, money is the second or third thing. The success will appear in something that we can deliver our product or our services or our research into the markets. So this is a lot of things that cannot be explained explicitly, but this is something that the element or the traits that need to be have by as an entrepreneur. So to taking your questions about how to foster the entrepreneurial culture within the organization, for example, the thing here adalah entrepreneur cannot be learned through classrooms. The fundamental, yes, fundamental about marketing, fundamental about finance, accounting, that's really important. But I believe that there's only 20 to 30% that need to be conducted in the classroom. The other 70 to 80% must be on site. You need to sell things. You need to make sure that you're able to pick the money from your client's pockets as soon as possible. So something, the ecosystem is need to be there. So taking that note is and organizations must provide a good environment. Of course, they can provide 1 or 2 years to help the company to grow. And once everything is okay, then you need to the organization needs to step back and let the company or the talents or the entrepreneurs moving forward. But so we okay.
Okay, Doctor. All right. Thanks for your answer and very concise answer just now. Before we move to the next question, maybe if I can kindly remind our listeners, our participants, if you can fill up I think we have provided the registration and feedback form. The links I think have been posted in the EMKF FB, if I'm not mistaken. So kindly fill up the feedback and registration form, okay, for our record. Okay, so now we move to the next question, Doctor. So based on what you have shared with us just now, so I think we know that finding and developing talents is clearly essential. Okay, and the first mindset, okay, the first thing that you should do in order for us to be a successful entrepreneur is to have the mindset. Okay, so why? Because the mindset of a successful entrepreneurial journey is basically helping us to anticipate the failures from which we can learn and bounce back. So I believe this is in line with the niche of UMK as an entrepreneurial university. Of course, we know that having the spirit, the mindset, and the culture is just the beginning of the journey. So now we want to move to the second and the third thing that you have mentioned just now, which is the money. So throughout this journey, we certainly need some money. So can you tell us some advices and tips on how to find investors to run our startup and possibly some strategies on how to convince the investors? Okay.
Okay, all right, sure. This is very fantastic questions. When we set up startups, basically we definitely need fund to start lah. Okay. And usually we need to prove that our product or our idea is sellable again. And to go in that stage, first of all, you need to make sure that you have a certain amount of clients. It depends on your nature, whether you go for B2C, business to consumer, or business to business. So if you go for B2C, you need to have a significant amount of client that on board to your services or your products. If you have a B2B nature, at least you will have 1 or 2 clients to be sufficient. But this is indicating that you can sell your product and whatnot. So these are the first thing that investor will look into first before they decide to invest to you. So make sure that's the first thing that you need to do when you setting up your company or your enterprise. And from there, the next thing here is go and try to market your companies and try to pitch in front of this potential investor. How? Go to some programs that are organized by some agencies. There's a lot of agencies that have this speech session every month or not every week. So go to that agencies and try to have a session with them, and then pitch your potentials to the investors. So when you get, if you are lucky enough to be invested, so the first thing here is you need to know what you are going to spend with that money, with the funding, and definitely doing this invest when you try to raise fund among the investors, definitely you need to have a really clear roadmap on how you are going to spend the money, and then how you can able to get the ROI, the return of investments out of that. So coming back to the questions, how you get that? First, you need to have a product or services. That's the first thing. Secondly, you need to make sure that your product is sellable, at least with the small markets or small number of your market segments. At least shows that you can sell and people willing to buy it, or people willing to subscribe it. And the third one is strategizing yourself to go and knock the investor door and try to start to pitch. And on the part of pitching, definitely you need to develop a pitching skill for pitching. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, or 1 minute pitchings, that will be really, really important to capture the interest and attention of the investors. So I hope that answers your questions. Dr. Hadrami, you are mute. Dr. Hadrami,
Okay,
you are mute.
thanks. All right. Thanks, Doctor, for your answer on how we can convince the investors. So some of the things that we should do based on what you have shared just now, we need to ensure that the product that we are offering is sellable, okay, and then we can start to convince the buyer or the potential investors by learning on how to do pitching, actually knocking their doors and convincing them to actually invest on our product. Okay, now coming to my last question before taking the questions from the participants. What are the important pillars for a university in fostering the entrepreneurial spirit and culture amongst the students? This is certainly essential, especially for the new departments like ourselves at the Department of Data Science. So how do we groom our students to think as technopreneurs? Okay.
Okay. To taking this point, first of all, you need to give opportunity. That's it. You need to provide opportunity for them to do this business and whatnot. University or the lecture itself need to give this opportunity, because without these opportunities, the student don't know their capabilities. And of course, and also the secondly, things that we are not learning in the school and also in the university is to embrace failures. We penalize those who are who fail on something, but this is not good on the entrepreneurship. We need to embrace them. So from here, these are the two important things that we need to bring to our students, because we still in our school time, we really afraid to do failures, and it's like something that will mark to you until your death, that you are a failure. So we need to remove that kind of mentality. So by opening up more on opportunities, give them more chances to do, and motivate them. After all, as a lecturer, we inspire people. We're not teaching only. We're not doing research only. We're not publish only. The role of the academicians is to inspire the young generations, inspire them to do more. And this is something that I can share. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor, for the answer again. I think now we can open the Q&A session to the floor. If any of the participants have questions, you can ask the question and pose the question in the Facebook chat box. I think currently we have 2 questions. Okay. Yeah, Doctor, you can read the question now. I have pasted the question. Okay, this is a question by Dr. Akila. Assalamualaikum Doktor, saya Akilah daripada UMK. Terima kasih di atas perkongsian yang cukup menarik daripada Doktor untuk hari ini. Saya ada 2 soalan untuk bertanya kepada Doktor. Yang pertama, seperti yang kita tahu, Doktor adalah bekas pensyarah daripada UTM dan telah full time sekarang dalam industri. So, apakah yang menjadi triggering factor lah yang membuatkan Doktor untuk jump daripada akademia ni kepada industri? Maaf soalan ni kalau menjadi personal lah. Okay, soalan pertama Doktor mungkin boleh jawab dulu. Okay,
sure. I'm okay with personal question because I'm here as I promised. I want to share as much as I can lah. Okay. This is a quite controversial punya answer lah if I may share lagi lah. Okay. I can say that when I was thinking of becoming a lecturer 2013 and before that, my cita-cita, my vision and my ambitions during that time is becoming an academician. Because my point of view during that time was an academician is the agent of change. We change. We are driving the change for the country, for the talents. I'm changed myself when I put myself closely with the lecturers, and I thought during that time becoming an agent of change will inspire people to moving forward and to bring the economies moving forward. But after a while, when I'm working as the academic, turns out to be is not really happening. We do operational jobs. Okay, we do a lot of operational jobs. So that means we are teaching, we do clerking, we do everything, and then the next semester we do things again and again and again. And this is something that repetitive job that going to be becoming our I can say that become our bread and butter in the academic. So then I realized that this environment will suffocated me. I'm not going to survive from this ecosystem. It's like I don't have the oxygen to live in this environment. So I find another options to do more, and then there I guess in the industries become the leaderships in the industry is one thing that I can bring more value to others. So I hope that answer your question. It's quite controversial. Maybe it only happened to me. It's not happening to anyone else. I hopefully that so. That's what I come into these feelings lah. Come back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Af, for the answer. I think we have another question right from Dr. Akilah, but I couldn't see it now in the chat box. Maybe.
Soalan nombor 2, seperti mana yang kita tahu terdapat beberapa syarikat startup yang telah macam mana? How can dia habis kat situ, dia soalan tak habis.
Ada okay. Okay, it's okay lah. Let me see if you have any more questions there. Okay. Is there any more questions from the participants, from the listeners? You can post the questions. Otherwise, we can conclude the session. Any more questions?
Dr. Akilah give another the second questions.
Dr. Akmal. Dr. Akilah. Okay, yeah. So UMK is entrepreneurial university. We now have data science and AI program. How you can see we can grow talents, especially in producing technopreneur, and be unique compared to the other top universities in Malaysia. Yeah, please, Doctor.
Okay, besides something that I have shared just now about the mindset, about the opportunity that we need to bring to our students, and also help them, inspire them to change to be more than what they know. Because something that I would like to chip in lah. I never be in Harvard and whatnot lah. Maybe Dr. Hadrami mungkin dah pernah pergi kot sebelum ni. There's a gate in the Harvard, I don't know, Harvard or Oxford if I'm not mistaken. There's a gate there called Dexter Gate. Okay? So if you go to Dexter Gate, there's something that written on the wall when you enter. It's called enter to grow. Okay? I'm always come in a bit into tears when I share this. When you go to that gate, it will show you, it's written there, enter to go in wisdom. Okay? And then when you try to exit with the same gates, it will show that go back to your nations, grow your nations and whatnot. This is like a responsibility for us. When we enter, we want to go with our with wisdom. And then when we come out from that gate, we need to come back to our peoples, to the peoples, and contribute to our peoples and our country and our nations. So this is something that we need to try to motivate ourselves as an academy or as a university. So it's not the ranking. It's not the thing that we are chasing for, KPI and whatnot. The idea here adalah why university been established, to grow people in wisdom and to let them go and cherish with the nations, increase the economies and contribute to the country, to the nation, to the people and whatnot. So come back to the questions here adalah when it comes into producing technopreneur, that means we need to make sure that the fundamental part, which is the AI technology on the all of these things that we teach in universities can be applied and can be benefits to others. Okay, so please chip in the value of contributing to others. If I learn here, if I learn these topics, what I can deliver to the client, what I'm going to deliver to others. So we need this kind of food of thought during every of the class. And when talking to the top universities, it's like a competition right now. Everyone want to go to the top university and whatnot. It's good. It's good for the marketing of the universities that compete to this ranking. So when I was in Japan, they are not talking about ranking. When you go to most of the Europe countries, the universities never ever told you about we need to go to the top university, because this ranking is the responsibility of the top management, not the responsibility of the academicians. We just do our job. We continue to inspire people, and the what I can say, and the benefit will come later. People will see you that you are different. Okay, and this is the stand out. So this university stock management only look into the stock management in order for them to promote the universities. Come here and study here, and let's grow the knowledge together. Come to us, and we are going to grow you in the wisdoms. This is how I try to relate lah. After all, that gate is belong to the top university, so I guess the motivation is there. I guess there's the reason why they put the statement there, the class on the walls, and because I believe that they didn't put there without must be have a reason on that, and I believe that's the reason I can relate to. I hope that answer your questions, Dr. Akmal. It's quite I can say that maybe again this is only my point of view lah. Maybe it's true or maybe not, and I hopefully I was wrong. I really hope that I was wrong, because when I'm wrong, I'm wrong in this context. That means it's a perception for me only. So coming back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, thanks for the answer that you've given, Dr. Af. There was another question. That was the second question by Dr. Akila. And there's another question by, you can read that one. And there's another question by Prof. Dr. Nur Azizi, our previous Vice Chancellor as well. Maybe you can address this question first. Sebenarnya kita tahu terdapat beberapa syarikat startup di Malaysia telah juga menawarkan servis dan solusi dengan menggunakan AI seperti computer vision. So apakah bentuk persaingan yang Dr. rasa mencabar di antara AI startup kita dengan startup yang lain untuk memastikan servis dan solusi dari syarikat Dr. diburu oleh potential clients?
Wow, fantastic questions. I also I always want to share about this. I'm really eager to share this. Okay. When we start our company on AI, we also identify some of the competitors that do the same thing. But when we came to our clients, we open our ears and we close our mouth. This is the first thing. We only hear, we only absorb what their problems. They said to us, doctor, we have bought this software, and then there's some features that not fit to us that we cannot customize. We only use what they have been offered only. And also, when we buy this software, we need to discard all the software that we already use or we already bought maybe last year, and then suddenly the new software came in. We need to discard the software that we are using right now. We need to implement the new software. So this is where we stand out. Back then in Synapse Innovation, we address this challenge by introducing that our platform is highly customizable and able to integrate with other software. So the AI will come later as of course the AI is our pinnacles of our products. Okay, this is going to be our thing. I can say the top notch of the product is our AI without any questions. But when it's come into the client, we need to hear their challenge, their pain, and from there we offering and features where we able to customize according to their needs, so that they only pay for what they are using. And secondly, we integrating our software with other software so that they don't have to discard or remove the software they have bought berjuta-juta tu, and juta ringgit dia dah beli, they don't have to discard the software. They can use the software at operation, but our software will support in the part of integration sahaja. So from here, we get a huge markets of clients after that. So to answer your questions, that's the answers.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the explanation. Very clearly mentioned by you just now. You need to always engage with the customers, the clients, so that you know what they really need. And then we're not actually offering something totally new to the extent that they need to remove the millions amount of money that they have invested for their existing software. But this is basically something that you offer to support, okay, on top of what they are already using at the moment, right? So this is a good thing to all of us. Okay, there's one question by
Azizi.
Azizi, yeah. Yeah. Okay, you can read the question now. Being in both academic and industry, what are your suggestions that universities need to do or change to be relevant? Okay.
Okay. There are some words that I learned when I joined Aerodynes. You cannot change those that in there 30 years because it has become the culture. You cannot change that. The only things that you can do here is create a new one. Okay, it doesn't mean that I want you to create another university or whatnot. So we cannot change other people's thought. We cannot change other people's perceptions. If they think that they are right, they are always right. If they think we are wrong, we are always wrong. Okay. So we cannot change. In other words, Prof, I'm sorry, the answer is we cannot change. Those that been there for 30 years, we cannot change at all. But the thing that we can change is ourselves. Okay? If you cannot live in that situation, go. Okay? Just go. Okay? There's a better things that wait us. Rezeki Allah tu luas. Okay? And so I believe in that. I truly believe on that. So from there, coming back to your question, Prof, what is your suggestions the universities need to do or change to be relevant? Just play with the game je lah. Okay, I cannot say anything because this is highly regulated things that I can say right now. Tak boleh ubah. Okay, jalan je. Okay, what the top management, the LPU and what not say, just proceed saja. We cannot change those things yang dah ada 30 tahun, 50 tahun, dah ada dekat situ dah lama dah. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's my honest answer lah, Prof. I'm sorry, I only can give you that answer saja. In reality, I do the reality check. So I'm sorry, that's the answer. Okay, coming back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, I think that's all the questions that we have at the moment. Can we end our session now, or should we wait for a few more questions? Because I can't see any more questions there. I think probably that will be the last question that has been answered clearly and concisely by our speaker. All right. So now we have come to the final and conclusion part of our program. So today we learned that both university and corporate cultures are rapidly changing, and corporate and entrepreneurial culture is increasingly embracing openness. So nowadays we begin to see universities are recognizing the need for a method to make their findings more socially and commercially relevant. In fact, in UMK, just like other universities as well, we are offering a clear guideline for the students and the staff to open up a spin-off company or a startup. So it is under ICD, and obviously all the students and staff can read through the guidelines given by ICD of UMK. And collaborations between universities and industry are becoming more common now. Based on a Nature Index report, academic industry collaborations have been doubled, hence increased rapidly between 2012 and 2016. And according to Scopus, the global number of papers co-authored by a research institution and an industry partner is increasing between 2015 and 2019. So hopefully we can have further collaboration between Synapse, spearheaded by Dr. Afnizan Faizal, and IBIC. So on behalf of IBIC and JSD, I would like to express our appreciation to Dr. Afnizan Faizal, who have shared his wonderful experience and journey in establishing an AI startup. So the JSD, the establishment of JSD and Department of Data Science is an important initiative towards developing a faculty of data science to ensure that UMK is always relevant in the current development of technology that emphasizes data as a competitive asset and very valuable in the analytical process. And finally, to all our fellow listeners and participants, thanks for joining our program today, and feel free to join our future webinars next year, inshallah. And don't forget to fill up the feedback and registration form that have been shared, the link in the FB. Okay. With that, I think we end our webinar today with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Biru jingga dan merah warnanya, semangat sumpah setia, inovatif, integriti, ilmu didrogai, warisan budaya sumber asli, keusahawanan teras kami, kekayaan akal dan budi, mendidik insan yang sejati. Merintis perubahan terkini demimu yang maha pencipta, merealisasi misi menjadi realiti demi negara yang tercinta. Relevan, unik dan berbeza, rencana peradaban bangsa, janji kami pada semua, taburi jasa di mana jua. Merintis perubahan terkini demimu yang maha pencipta, merealisasi misi menjadi realiti demi negara yang Indonesia.